I remember while filming Kabhi Alvida, I didn't realize when I wrote the film and that it was going to get so deeply immersive as an experience for the actors. Because I realized that all the characters, Dev and Maya and Rishi and Riya, they got so immersed into those characters that at one point I had to tell Preeti that listen, this is not really happening. We're shooting a movie. Like she was like, but why is he cheating on me? So I'm like, he's not cheating on you. It's the character. Like, you know, she was getting like very personal. Like when I had to one day take her aside, we went for a walk. I remember at one point Abhishek broke down really on set. You know, you remember there was a scene you and him were shooting, and I remember he broke down, and I think there were moments I could see you just looking sullen and sad, and I realized that everyone was going through like you were going through beats in your head, because the film talks about ground realities, emotional realities, things that people go through. Don't like to address, we don't like to acknowledge, we brush them under the carpet, but they are all realities of modern life. And I realized it was a very tumultuous experience.
Yes.
And I think
also for the audience as well.
Yes, it was. I'll never forget when I realized that the film is going to get polarized responses, is that I went to see the first preview of the film with a paid audience, and there was a traditional looking couple watching it. And there's a scene where Dev and Maya are checking into a hotel, and immediately the traditional woman looked at the traditional man and said, like that, like, what's happening? And he said, kuch nahi, dream sequence hai. And when they realized that dream sequence nahi hai, they both got up and walked out. And I remember I was like, oh no, like, you know, like this is also, like, there is judgment, you know, but yet the end of that film gives you hope. And it speaks about love going beyond. That love should be the only reason you walk into a relationship.
Absolutely.
So more power to you, Rani, for portraying those parts. And
thank you, Karan, for writing those parts.
No, I mean, like,
you know,
like
of course,
it's way back in the
I
past.
always say that we actors, we get opportunity to, you know, do such parts only because the writers and the directors, they write such parts for us. The directors have the faith, the producers have the faith to produce such films. Only then can actors come into the role and can give those characters wings, you know, and give them flesh on screen.
And those wings give you moments on cinema, like I'll never forget that train sequence from Saathiya. Like there is just something organically pure. It's also, I think, it's that zone of performance that you came from that very filmy heroine performance to real natural acting, which you could do. You can do anything. According to me, Rani Mukerji can do anything. But when I see you in Yuva, I see you in Saathiya, I see you in Hey Ram, I see a syntax that is so unusual for that time, for the mainstream movie star heroine of that time. I want everyone to see that moment in Saathiya.
लेकिन मैं तुमसे शादी क्यों करूंगी?
No. You remember this day, shooting the scene?
Of course,
what
my
happened?
God. We were shooting all around Mumbai, in the trains, in marine lines. You know, we used to catch the train from marine lines, and then we used to go up and down, up and down. And it was amazing because as a student, you know, because I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, I used to catch the locals a lot of times to go to town. So just being in the locals, just being there shooting with Shah's madness, with just, you know, trying to get the scene done because, you know, there's like, you know, the time running out. And of course, this was Sing Sound, which is Sing Sound is basically live sound. And there was so much of trains going and coming, crossing us. But I do remember the sound recordist was such a genius that he actually kept all the sound which is live.
Wow.
And today you can't even imagine, because the minute you go for a Sing Sound film or you are working on a Sing Sound film, they always say that, you know, there's some external sounds happening, you know, we need to quiet down. And I remember being shooting Saathiya in the midst of the local trains, and all of that was live sound. So it was like amazing, and I love Suhani's character. I think she's so defiant, and
she has so much chutzpah. Like
and the fact, and she makes the Aditya's character completely squirm, because when he says "I love you" and she says,
So
what does that mean?
But
because she's a
like,
doctor,
so?
like in her head, she's like, okay, these are certain chemical things that are happening in your system. It's not really love. So that was probably the thing that Suhani was thinking. And I think it's so beautiful because it was a young love story. It was about young lovers who, go against their family and they come into a relationship, and it actually showed what challenges couples face when they get married, and when the initial dizziness of love, goes away, what is left is, if the love is truthful, if the love is pure, it stays.
Yeah. Wow. That was one tone of performance that started cementing you with every passing performance and year as such a solid actor. Two performances that, when I shut my eyes and I think of brilliance, I think of two performances where you portrayed disabilities.
Yeah.
Black and Hichki. Let's go back to Black. Turning point not in your career as a movie star, but like talking about just the brilliance of that performance is yet not saying enough. Like, what was the kind of work, energy, and just feeling? Because I still remember you telling me that when you all saw the film, you and Amit Uncle saw the film, you all hugged each other and just broke down when you saw the copy of the film.
Yeah.
And when two actors have immersed themselves so deeply into that kind of experience and filming, it's only then that you feel like that release is so needed. Tell me about Black.
I think I have to credit Sanjay for every second of that film. The fact that he chose me, I'm very, very grateful, and I'm going to be indebted to him forever for that part. What Sanjay brought as a director, in the scenes that we shot, I think he took the scenes from, say, what we were performing. He made an entire world which was so different. Like, it was the first time that I was working in a film like that, where each day I came on set and I saw the beauty of the set, the kind of detailing that Sanjay did, and it inspired me every second to give my best. And Sanjay coming on set, and the way he used to interact with me, the way he used to interact with every actor on set, inspire them to do their best. I think Sanjay has some special quality that he really makes you immerse in the character and takes you to the depth of your own self to actually figure what else is there. Like, even if I don't know that it exists within me, Sanjay will make sure that he taps into that. And I don't know how he does it, but he does it. He creates an atmosphere that takes you to that place in your life or in your performance of that particular scene, that Rani, you have to give your best. And he does that with every actor of his. But the process of Black was very different, because when I met all of them,
Everyone who's visually challenged.
everyone who's challenged with seeing, with talking, with hearing, and I interacted with them, because by then I had learned the sign language. Because I had to go through 6 months of training of learning the sign language to be able to communicate with them, because I needed to spend time with them to, observe them, how they interact, what are their movements, how do they look, because there is no, if your world is black, how do you react to as a simple thing of get me a glass of water? Or, I'm watching the beach. How do you comprehend that? Or I'm going from, say, Juhu to Bandra. How do you even comprehend something as simple as that? And they go through their lives with that. But what was amazing about them was that they were so self-reliant. They had so much pride in them for who they are. And the fact that they had overcome so many obstacles in their life. And that gave me the power to be Michelle McNally. That gave me the spirit of Michelle McNally, because I saw that they didn't want sympathy. They didn't want you. They were cracking jokes. They were saying things which Sanjay and me used to crack up, because when they used to sign and I used to understand what they're saying. And Sanjay, well, did he actually say this? And I said, yeah. And they were like things which used to be bizarre. So I think the spirit of Michelle came from the fact that I spent a lot of time with them and I learned that. But of course, working with Mr. Bachchan, I think that for any actor is, I think, a turning point in their career. And especially Mr. Bachchan in a role like what he did as Debraj was something that was, I would say, a masterclass every day coming to set. And to watch Mr. Bachchan do his bit with Sanjay inspiring us day in and day out, I think that was in my career, it's one of those magical films or those moments that I felt extremely spiritual and grateful, because you suddenly start realizing in life that there is so much to be grateful. To be grateful of the fact that you have your six senses, you can see, you can hear, you can talk, you can walk, you can use your arms. Like I used to have days where my arms used to hurt because I used to keep on learning how to do my sign language, and you require your arms for that.
Yeah.
And I used to wonder that, oh my God, they have to sign through the day because that's the only way they can communicate. So it was like a eye changer for me. It was like, my whole life, I became a different Rani then.
And you think that all that truckload of work, that emotional investment, I'm sure Black didn't leave you for years after you even finished performing that part. Because a character like that doesn't leave you very easily. Of course, it increases your empathy level, it increases your ability to take on any character in the world. Did all that work that you put into Black also come in complete handy when you were performing the part for Hichki?
Yes,
because that
absolutely.
was another disability,
Yes.
Tourette's, that you were
Yes,
portraying.
yes.
Totally different in texture, in syntax, but also needs a lot of personal investment.
Absolutely. And what was shocking for me is that at that point of time, hardly people knew about Tourette's.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. And I was like, really? People don't know about Tourette's? So for me, doing Hichki was also a reason where I wanted to tell people that this is something that people have, and they are living their lives with it, because it was a book inspired by Brad Cohen. And he unfortunately couldn't come to India because I wanted to do a lot of research with him. Because it was inspired by his book. But, doing those Zoom calls with Brad and interacting with him and talking to him about his emotional journey from the time he was a kid, I think that made me understand that what people go through when people don't understand. People don't show empathy, people laugh at you. And how does one deal with it? And you need a lot of superpower from inside, strength,
To be
that
able to
resilience,
fight
to
that,
be
yeah.
able to fight that day in and day out. It's not like just once in a while it'll happen. It happens to you every day, and how do you go through life with that? So I think these are characters that have inspired me personally, for me as a person to be inspired by those characters, and I'm so happy that I could bring them to an audience and for them to watch and be inspired.
Absolutely. Black and Hichki will always be tent-pole moments in your career. Let's have a look.
कई कोशिशों के बाद आखिर मकड़ी ने बार-बार गिरने के बावजूद अपना घर बना ही लिया। चींटी पहाड़ पर चढ़ी गई, एक कछुए ने रेगिस्तान पार कर ही लिया, और आज मिशेल ग्रेजुएट हो गई।
आतिश! आतिश! Stop it! Stop it! आतिश! आतिश, मैंने सुना तुमने अक्षय से क्या कहा। जिस तरह से वाडिया सर ने अपना मन बना लिया है 9F को धुतकारने का, वैसे तुमने अपना मन बना लिया है अक्षय को नीचा दिखाने का। फिर क्यों रोते फिरते हो? किसी नॉटकस ने हमें कभी एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया? कि नहीं तुम्हें कभी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करने वाली, क्यों रोते फिरते हो? इससे पहले कि मैं और कुछ बोलूं, go back to
क्या
class.
बोलोगी क्या मैडम? बोलोगी क्या? मैंने ठीक से बोलना तो सीख लो। दो बात बोलती नहीं हो, चार हिचकी पहले सुनाई दे जाती है। कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है स्कूल में नहीं, इस सर्कस में खड़ा हूं मैं।
आतिश!
As I said, tentpole moments, tentpole films. Did it break your heart when you didn't win the National Award for Black?
I think it broke heart of all my fans. It broke my father's heart. It broke my mom's heart. I think the way I was and the way I've conducted my career, my life from the time I was a teenager, I started off being an actor because my mom asked me to be an actor. And I realized that through the work that I could do, I could probably give my parents a better life and see them happy and comfortable. And that was my dream for a few years that I kept working in films. Then when I realized that this is a serious profession and I used to get fan mails, that time there was no social media. We would only get to know through fan mails. And through my fan mails, I realized how important my fans believe in my work and how important it is for me to give them back what they want from me, and I need to do better films, better roles, better performances. And that's when I started understanding the seriousness of the profession. And when I started doing that, I think I had my blinkers on like a horse, and what I saw was just moving ahead, wanting to make my audiences happy, wanting to do the best for my films and make my directors happy because they are my first audience. And that was something that I kept doing with or without awards, because my goal was not to say win a award so that it makes me happy today. I think winning awards is more about the recognition that the entire team of that film gets. Because if you are recognized, the team feels elated, the audience feels elated. But as an actor, I have to constantly keep working.
But it hurts.
It does hurt,
does
but it doesn't become a criteria
Specifically because that year Mr. Bachchan and Sanjay won.
Yes.
And everyone felt, not just the fraternity, the audience space, everyone. Sometimes it's not in anyone's control, of course. Awards are.
But Karan, I think it's good that it happened, because
Why would you say that?
very earlier on in my life, I realized that even after you do your best work, you might not get the recognition that you deserve. And probably somebody else's performance is better than yours.
Yes.
And you have to keep striving for the best. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep doing your best.
Yeah.
And for me, my audience, and I would really, really thank them from the bottom of my heart, Karan, because from the time, because I've literally grown up. These 3 decades is literally me growing up from being a 17-year-old to being 47 today. I've literally grown up in cinema.
Don't say that, your mom will be unhappy. You're not meant to divulge your age, Rani, so openly like this.
So these 3 decades, my audiences have accepted me in every phase of my life. They saw me as a teenager, they saw me becoming a young girl, a woman, a wife, a mother, and nothing has come in the way of my audience to believing in my work and appreciating my work. They have helped me shatter the
glass ceiling.
the glass ceiling, as they say. We don't shatter those ceilings. It's our audience that helps us shatter those glass ceilings, because they accept us in those roles. They accept us in every phase of our life. And I can only thank them for that they see me, they see my character, they don't see what I am doing personally in my life. Because
And not
for
only
the
did you-
actors, it never comes in the way of the actors.
Yeah.
It's always questioned. The women are always judged, and I'm happy that my audience has not judged my personal life.
No, they never have and they never will. And it's that belief that the audiences have. You didn't just shatter the ceiling, you reached the ceiling with your performance in Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, and that won you your first national award. I know we could call it delayed gratification, but it was a big moment. Specifically, not just being your first, you won it in the same year as Shah Rukh. I was there in the same room, and I felt for all of us, it was like the coming together of the Kuch Kuch Hota Hai trio, all winning national awards. To me, it was one of the most emotional moments of my life. Really, it felt so, and seeing you win that award, it made me feel so, so proud. What did it feel like for you? And that performance, before we talk about the national award and your first win, that film, I remember you showing me the film in the closed room of an edit room at MA Entertainment. I was watching it, you wanted me to see it. And I'm a parent by then, and I remember being a puddle because I have just wept and wept and wept because I cannot even believe what it feels like for a parent to just see their children I'm a mom and a dad, right? So I'm a combination of both. So I felt every beat of that performance. I felt that you had immersed yourselves into every existing mother in our motherland, and it was just such a powerful portrayal of a absolutely helpless mother. And you being a mom, and I know you're a tiger mom, like I know how you are about Adira. I can't even imagine what you felt like every day of that shoot.
It was very tough. And the only person who I placed in that, in Devika, was my mom. Because that's the other Bengal tigress who I know.
Yeah.
And my mom, she has lived her entire life because of my brother and me. The way she dotes on us. Even after my dad passing away, I think what keeps her going every day is the love that she has for us.
Yeah.
And I just had to have her in mind, because she is the closest person who I know who could be raised in Calcutta, and she was raised in Calcutta, and she got married at the age of 20 to my dad, and she came to Mumbai and she made her life here. So she was the closest person who I could think of, her dialect, because even today, when my mom speaks in English or Hindi, she sounds Bengali.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Bengaliness in her. And I thought that Devika, being this true Bengali person from Calcutta, moving to Norway to make a family, she reminded me of my mom. And I just imagined if that had happened to my mom, how would my mom be? She would just lose the marbles. She would just go crazy. So I think putting myself in that place, I think would be a bit too much, because I think I wouldn't be able to perform. Because I think that's
So you
too
modeled
deep.
your performance on
so
your
I
mother.
modeled my performance on my mom, and the way my mom would react to those situations.
Well, I can only imagine if that hasn't happened, but what Krishna auntie would do even today. Leave alone, take a child away from her. I think take a child even from one bedroom to another, I can imagine her going crazy.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to have a look. Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, what a performance.